What's your name?
My name's Harriet.
My name's Jenny.
Lillian.
My name's Maxwell Mason.
Andrew.
My name is Anna.
Have you got a nickname?
I do. My nickname is Harry, which is short for Harriet.
Jen.
Lil.
My nickname's Max.
Yes, AJ.
No, I don't.
What do you do on a normal day?
Normal day, I get up at 7 o'clock, I wash, and then I cycle to work. I work, I cycle home, I relax, and I go out with friends in the evening. It's a normal day.
Oh, well, I get up about 7:30, I have breakfast about 8, I cycle to work, I work all day, and then I go home and I make dinner, and maybe I read after dinner, and then I go to bed about 10:30.
Oh, get up, drink strong black coffee, go to work.
I listen to music, I read a lot, I visit charity shops, really. That's what I like to do.
Well, I'm a student, so I study. Usually I aim to get up at 7. That doesn't happen too often. I try to swim every morning, then go to the library and do some reading. And in the evening, I usually meet my friends and we go out and have a drink.
What did you do on holiday last year?
I went to the beach in Cornwall. I went swimming. I walked on the beach. I took some photos. I saw a lighthouse and I had a picnic.
Last year I went skiing with my cousins. I went to France, to the Alps, and went skiing in the mountains, and we skied through the forests. It was great fun.
I went to Madrid for 1 week.
A lot of sunbathing. I went to the Bahamas.
Last year I was in Italy, in Forte dei Marmi, by the seaside. It was amazing, it was beautiful.
I went to France, where I visited some castles.
What was the weather like?
It was not too hot. It was sunny and a bit cloudy.
The weather was normally sunny, but there were a couple of days when it was very foggy and cloudy.
Very, very hot and very dry, but lovely.
Very, very good weather.
Oh, the weather was gorgeous. It was warm every day. It was at least 38 degrees Celsius. The sea was amazing. Sunshine 24 hours almost. Very warm nights.
It was fantastic. Really, really hot.
Did you buy any souvenirs?
I bought some postcards and I bought some sweets.
I did. I bought a keyring for my niece.
One keyring, which was a flamenco dancing shoe.
I bought some rum and some postcards.
No, but I did buy some postcards.
Iceland is one of the most fascinating islands in the world. The island, in the North Atlantic Ocean, is slightly bigger than Portugal, but it has a population of only 300,000 people. Iceland's capital city is Reykjavik, in the southwestern region of the country. It's the biggest city in the country and the home of over half of the island's population. The first Icelandic people came from Norway in the 9th century. For many years, Iceland was part of Denmark, but it became an independent country on the 17th of June, 1944. This date is now celebrated as Iceland's National Day. Iceland has a president and a prime minister. The parliament is called the Althing. These fine old Althing buildings are in the centre of Reykjavik. Fishing is the biggest industry in Iceland. But tourism is becoming more and more important to the economy. Reykjavik is a charming old city, but most tourists come to see Iceland's amazing scenery. Iceland is famous for its mountains, volcanoes, and hot springs. Some of Iceland's most popular attractions are on a tourist route called the Golden Circle. Gullfoss is a beautiful waterfall on the Kvita River. The waterfall is 32 meters high. Because Iceland's summers are quite rainy, the waterfall is more spectacular between June and September. The incredible Geysir is also in the Golden Circle. The water here is hotter than 100 degrees, and the fountains can travel over 30 meters into the air. The English word geyser comes from the Icelandic language. Icelandic people use this hot water from under the earth to heat their homes across the country. This geothermal power is very environmentally friendly. But the Blue Lagoon is Iceland's most famous tourist attraction. People come from all over the world to enjoy the naturally hot water and special mud. You can swim, but most people just relax and enjoy the ultimate Icelandic experience. Iceland's capital city is Reykjavik, in the southwestern region of the country. The first Icelandic people came from Norway in the 9th century. For many years, Iceland was part of Denmark. But it became an independent country on the 17th of June, 1944. This date is now celebrated as Iceland's National Day. The waterfall is 32 metres high.
How often do you play sports?
In the summer, I play once a week, and in the winter, I play twice a week.
I play sports 5 times a week.
I don't, but I regularly walk.
I play sports most weeks.
I run 3-4 times a week.
What sports do you like doing?
I normally play hockey, and sometimes I also play football, but the main sport I do is mountain biking.
I like cycling and I like swimming.
I like to water ski and I like to sail.
I like watching a lot of sports, but too old now.
I like to play tennis, and I like to surf. But I live in Oxford, so I'm far away from the sea, so that doesn't happen as often as I would like.
Would you like to try windsurfing?
I have tried windsurfing, and I really enjoyed it.
No, I think I'd be afraid.
I have tried windsurfing. I prefer normal surfing, but yes, it's good. I like it.
Would you like to try roller skating?
I'd like to try roller skating.
I've tried it. I didn't like it.
Have you ever lived alone?
No, I haven't.
No.
Yes. I have, yes.
I have lived alone. I lived alone in Chicago for a year after I got out of university.
Have you ever lived in another country?
Yes, I lived in the Netherlands for a year.
I have. I used to live in New Zealand when I was 5, and I currently live in Australia.
Oh, okay, I've lived in lots of different countries. I've lived in Ireland, I've lived in Ecuador, I've lived in France, I've lived in India, I've lived in Taiwan. Yeah, that's it.
For a short period of time, 2 months. I was in Australia for, yeah.
I have lived in another country, 2 of them as a matter of fact. This one, the UK, of course, and I also lived in New Zealand for 7 months.
How independent are you?
I like to think very independent. It's very important to me that I can support myself and make my own decisions.
Fairly independent. I earn a pretty good living and pay for everything, accommodation and food, etc.
Yeah, I would say generally I'm fairly independent. I like to make my own decisions and yeah.
I would say pretty independent, yeah. I still need my parents for some things, but I'm okay most of the time.
I'm extremely independent. I pay for everything and live on my own and have gone to school for 6 years now. Yeah.
Crowds have gathered in London for the coronation of Queen Elizabeth. News reaches London that a British expedition has climbed the world's highest mountain, Mount Everest. But the 2 men who have conquered the mountain are not British. Tenzin Norgay is Nepalese, and Edmund Hillary is from New Zealand. Born in Auckland in 1919, Hillary started climbing at university. He was strong and had a lot of stamina, so he could climb better and for longer than others. In 1953, he joined a British expedition to climb Everest. Mount Everest is in the Himalayas and is 8,848 meters high. Hillary and Tenzing reach 8,500 meters high on Mount Everest and camp there overnight. The next morning, Hillary's boots are frozen, so they have to wait for 2 hours. They set off for the summit at 6:30, each carrying a 14-kilogram pack. They can only climb slowly, and they can't climb without oxygen. But by 11:30 that morning, they have reached the summit. They spend just 15 minutes at the summit and then come back down the mountain.
Auckland sees the end of an epic journey to and from the top of the world, and a crowd of thousands waits to welcome New Zealand's heroes. From aboard the Solent flying boat, Sir Edmund Hillary and George Lowe emerged to report all's well to the men and women who in spirit were never far behind them.
When Hillary returned to New Zealand, he was a national hero. He was knighted by the Queen and became Sir Edmund Hillary. He joined other expeditions to the North and South Pole. But for the rest of his life, he returned to the Himalayas every year to build hospitals and schools for the Nepalese people. Despite all these achievements, he remained modest. When Edmund Hillary died in Auckland on the 11th of January 2008, many countries around the world mourned him, But in New Zealand, he represents everything people admire, and he continues to inspire new generations of New Zealanders to follow their dreams. The next morning, Hillary's boots are frozen, so they have to wait for 2 hours. They can only climb slowly, and they can't climb without oxygen. But by 11:30 that morning, they have reached the summit. They spend just 15 minutes at the summit and then come back down the mountain. But for the rest of his life, he returned to the Himalayas every year to build hospitals and schools for the Nepalese people.
Do you enjoy shopping?
No, I don't. I hate shopping. I really, really hate it.
Yes, I do. I like shopping. I like shopping for clothes.
I love shopping.
I love shopping, especially in London.
Not especially, no. Yes, I love shopping when I can afford it.
What clothes do you like?
I don't like very, very smart clothes. I like more, I don't know if you say, relaxed clothes. But for work, I have to wear smart clothes.
I like shoes and I like handbags.
Ooh, all sorts of things. I like business suits for the office and then more fun things for after work, jeans, tops, skirts, all sorts.
Fairly casual clothes. Occasionally I have to look smart, but most of the time it's more important to be comfortable.
All sorts. I like going out, dressing up clothes. I like relaxed clothes, sporty clothes. Yeah.
Do you buy all your own clothes?
Yes, I do, except at Christmas, Santa Claus normally gives me my socks.
Yes, I usually buy all my own clothes.
Yes, I have a very particular taste, and so I prefer to buy them myself.
I do, and I occasionally make my own as well.
Yes.
Generally, unless I steal them from my sisters, yeah.
When did you pass your driving test?
Ooh, I think I was 17 or 18.
Well, I passed my driving test on my birthday, so I can remember very well. 20 years ago, on my birthday.
Oh, I passed it when I was 16.
4 years ago, when I was 17.
What's that? In 1998.
I've never driven a car in my life.
Do you like driving?
Yes, although I don't do it very much. I tend to use my bicycle.
No, not really. I don't like driving because there's a lot of traffic on the roads and I don't like sitting in traffic jams.
I love driving. Yesterday we just got back from driving through Wales, which was lovely.
I love it.
Yes.
What are the most important rules for drivers in your country?
They have to observe the highway code, which is a list of rules, and that says things like don't speed, give way at junctions, how to indicate at roundabouts and so on.
Drivers must drive within the speed limit and not drive too fast.
You must stop at a red light and stop sign, and you must always wear a seatbelt.
Concentration, being aware of other drivers, and speed, probably. Watch your speed.
Always check your mirrors and never drive over the speed limit.
You mustn't drink and drive. You mustn't use your telephone and drive, that's quite new. You have to be aware of pedestrians, check all your mirrors, be generally aware of other people.
Every year, millions of Chinese people around the world celebrate the New Year in January or February. The Chinese use the lunar calendar for their festivals. The lunar calendar uses the amount of time the moon takes to go around the Earth, so the date of the New Year changes every year. The New Year celebrations last for 2 weeks and end on the full moon. In 2010, the Chinese New Year started on February the 10th. This was the Chinese year 4708, and it was the year of the tiger. There are 12 animals in the Chinese zodiac. The dog, the pig, the rat, the ox, the tiger, the rabbit, the dragon, the snake, the horse, the goat, the monkey, and the rooster. Each animal has a different personality. Chinese people believe this affects the personality of people born in that year. They believe people born in the year of the tiger will be quite optimistic, loving, and usually really lucky. In London, people celebrate the New Year in the Chinatown area of the city. There has been a Chinese community in London since the 18th century. The first Chinese residents were sailors from the trade boats arriving in London. Today, Chinatown is famous for its great restaurants and vibrant nightlife, and is popular with both Londoners and tourists. There are many ancient New Year's traditions in the Chinese community. Traditionally, people have to clean their homes before the start of the New Year. Families eat a special New Year's Eve meal, and they must decorate their homes with red for good luck. At New Year in Chinatown, visitors can try a bit of this traditional food and see the decorations. To celebrate the arrival of the Year of the Rat in 2008, there was a huge parade through the streets of Chinatown in London. The parade finished in Trafalgar Square with a spectacular show. Thousands of people came to see acrobats performing the amazing lion dance. There was traditional dancing and singing. Performers wore beautiful costumes with silk trousers and dresses in bright colours. The celebrations ended with a firework display. Fireworks have been part of Chinese culture for over 2,000 years. In an ancient Chinese legend, people used fireworks at New Year to scare away a monster called Nian. Today, they are an essential part of Chinese New Year celebrations across the world. The New Year celebrations last for 2 weeks and end on the full moon. There has been a Chinese community in London since the 18th century. The first Chinese residents were sailors from the trade boats arriving in London. Today, Chinatown is famous for its great restaurants and vibrant nightlife, and is popular with both Londoners and tourists. The celebrations ended with a firework display. Fireworks have been part of Chinese culture for over 2,000 years.
What do you do?
I work for the Department of Justice for the state government in Australia.
What do? I'm a student.
I work for a small film production company.
I'm a primary school teacher.
I work in a shop selling food.
I work for a charity which is involved in drug rehabilitation.
What do you like about your job?
It's very diverse and every day is a new day.
I enjoy the variety of the work.
I think what I like best is helping the children learn. I find it really rewarding, and it's quite exciting because when they're enthusiastic and they really want to learn things.
Well, I love food, so I love being able to try different food from different countries, and I like helping people when they're looking for something new.
Well, I think that it's a worthwhile thing to be working towards, and work with some great and interesting people.
What do you do on a typical day at work?
I get to work, I check my emails, I will meet with my manager to see what projects we have to do for the day.
Oh, get up, have food, go to the library, read lots, go home and go to bed.
I would spend most of my time on my computer, most of the time editing video.
I arrive at work and then I take the register to make sure that all the children are there, and then I take the lessons. So we would normally have 3 lessons in the morning, and then we have lunch, and then 3 lessons in the afternoon, and then the children go home.
My boss normally opens the shop, so I arrive, have a cup of tea, and then I check what is on the shelves, what we need to buy to get for the shop, and then I serve customers.
A lot of it is data entry, data analysis, statistics, and some research.
When's the last time you apologised to someone?
The last time that I apologised to somebody was actually just this morning.
It wasn't very long ago, actually. It was this morning.
Oh, probably this morning for last night.
Yesterday evening to my son.
It was last week.
What did you apologise for?
I apologised to somebody because I accidentally stood on the back of their shoe as I was walking along the corridor.
I apologise for breaking something at work.
For being late down to breakfast.
I apologised because I ate the last chocolate biscuit.
For being slightly late to work.
What did you say?
I said, "Oh, sorry."
I told my boss that I was really sorry and that it wouldn't happen again.
Sorry I'm so late to breakfast.
I said, I'm really sorry.
Sorry, the traffic was bad, so I'm running about 10 minutes late today.
It is estimated that nearly a quarter of the world's population use the internet. That's over 1.5 billion people going online and surfing the web. This figure has grown by over 300% since the year 2000. It is predicted that this figure will continue to grow for many years. Today, it is difficult to imagine a world without the internet. But when we click on a link or download a file, we rarely think about what the internet and the World Wide Web are, or about their short history. Many people have worked on the internet, but a British scientist called Tim Berners-Lee is the man known as the father of the World Wide Web. The net already existed when Berners-Lee started his work on the web. The internet is the network of computers around the world that can share information. Information is sent from one computer to another across the internet through cables and wireless connections. This is possible because every computer has a unique address known as an IP address. Berners-Lee is the man who designed the way we link to all the information stored on the computers on the internet. Berners-Lee comes from a family of scientists. His parents met while building one of the world's first computers in Manchester, in the UK. After studying physics at Oxford University, he moved to the CERN laboratory in Geneva in 1980. He wanted to find a way for scientists to share the research information that was stored across the laboratory's network of computers. So, he invented a language called HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. When everyone uses the same language, information can be shared between all computers on a computer network. Importantly, Berners-Lee allowed everyone to use this language free of charge. The World Wide Web is all of the information that is available on the internet. Documents, music, photos, or videos. When you click on a hypertext link, you can access this information. It doesn't matter where the information is stored. Berners-Lee left CERN in 1994 to move to Boston in the United States, where he continued his work at MIT. He led the W3 Consortium, an organization which works on developing and maintaining web standards and guidelines. Queen Elizabeth II made Berners-Lee a knight in 2004, and Sir Tim Berners-Lee still continues to work with W3 and other web research organizations. The internet is growing all the time, and the way we use it is also changing. Many people now surf the web on the move using wireless connections. Some scientists are worried that in the future the internet won't be able to cope with the huge amount of information on the web. But Berners-Lee is confident that it will continue to grow and develop in new and exciting ways. It is estimated that nearly a quarter of the world's population use the internet. That's over 1.5 billion people going online and surfing the web. This figure has grown by over 300% since the year 2000. When everyone uses the same language, information can be shared between all computers on a computer network. Importantly, Berners-Lee allowed everyone to use this language free of charge. Queen Elizabeth II made Berners-Lee a knight in 2004, and Sir Tim Berners-Lee still continues to work with W3 and other web research organisations.
What's your favourite meal?
I really like stir fries with rice.
My favourite meal is Irish stew.
My favourite meal is chicken jambalaya.
My favourite meal is spaghetti bolognese.
Carbonara.
What's in it?
Fresh vegetables and sometimes chicken, not always, and chilies. I like hot food.
Lamb and potatoes and carrots and onions.
In chicken jambalaya, you have chicken and chorizo, which is a kind of Spanish sausage, and there are other vegetables in it such as peppers and onions and tomatoes, and it's also made with rice.
Onions, minced beef, tomato and spaghetti.
Parmesan, ham, cream and eggs and pasta, of course.
How do you make it?
You just cut all the vegetables, it's very easy, and then put everything in some oil and fry it.
You fry the onions and carrots, and then you add the lamb and a stock and let it cook for 2 or 3 hours.
Well, first of all, you chop up the chorizo and you cook that, and then you chop up the chicken and you cook that as well. And after that, you fry the peppers and the onions. Then you put everything in the pan together, and next you add the rice and some water and cook it for about 20 minutes.
First you fry the onions, then you add mince, next you add tomatoes, and finally you boil spaghetti.
You boil the pasta first. Beforehand, you prepare a mixture of eggs whisked together, salt and pepper, maybe, and then you fry the ham off, or the bacon, whatever you prefer, and then you mix it all in together when the pasta's cooked and the egg mixture cooks anyway, and you have a nice sauce, and then add some cream and parmesan on top if you like it creamy.
How did you get here today?
I came here by bike. It's just a short 10-minute bike ride from my house.
I cycled. It's a 15-minute bike ride from my house to work.
How did I get here? I came on the bus.
By train.
By train.
By car.
By public transport.
What have you done this morning?
This morning I've done some shopping, so I needed to pick up some groceries, and I also bought myself a new pair of trousers.
I've worked and I met a friend for lunch.
This morning I did some shopping in Oxford.
Just walk and take pictures.
Help the wife clean the kitchen.
How long have you been in Oxford?
I've lived in Oxford for 3.5 years.
I've been here about 5 years.
Oh, about 30 years.
About an hour.
Just about an hour now in total.
Basically all my life, and I've worked in Oxford since 1965.
Padstow is a small but very popular harbour town in North Cornwall in the United Kingdom. The town is 1.5 kilometres from the sea on the beautiful Camel River. It's a 30-minute drive from the Eden Project, the biggest tourist attraction in the area. The popular holiday resort of Rock is just a 5-minute ferry ride across the Camel River on the Black Tor ferry. Rock has got some of the most beautiful beaches in the area. There's a lot for the visitor to do in Padstow. There are beautiful walks along the southwest coastal path. This walking path follows the coast for just over 1,000 kilometres around the southwest of England. You can hire a bike and cycle along the camel trail through the lovely Cornish countryside. There aren't any cars on the trail, so it's great for families. There's good sailing on the river and lots of pretty places to stay in the town. There's even a tiny cinema. The charming Cinedrome's been open since 1924. But Padstow is most famous for its food. There are many different restaurants, pubs, bakeries, and sweet shops in the town. A lot of visitors come to try the fresh seafood and traditional local food and drink. The pubs sell local beer and ale. The fudge shop sells over 36 different kinds of Cornish fudge. And in the summer, delicious Cornish ice cream is very popular. Another popular local dish is fish and chips. Boats leave this harbour every day to catch fish in the Atlantic, so the fish is very fresh. Fried fish and fried chips isn't very healthy, but it is delicious. And of course, everyone should try a Cornish pasty when they visit Padstow. The Chuff Bakery has made prize-winning traditional pasties for many years. The pasties are baked in the shop, so they are always fresh and hot. A traditional Cornish pasty has got beef, potatoes, onions and some turnip inside pastry. They are the original Cornish takeaway. People used to take them to work for lunch, on the farms and in the mines. But you must be careful eating your takeaway in Padstow, because the seagulls really love the local food too. It's a 30-minute drive from the Eden Project, the biggest tourist attraction in the area. The popular holiday resort of Rock is just a 5-minute ferry ride across the Camel River on the Black Tor ferry.
There's good sailing on the river and lots of pretty places to stay in the town. There's even a tiny cinema. The charming Cinedrome's been open since 1924. Boats leave this harbour every day to catch fish in the Atlantic, so the fish is very fresh.
When was the last time you were ill?
Probably last month.
A few weeks ago, I had a cold.
Quite a long time ago. I actually don't get ill, usually.
Last time I was ill? Last time I went off work ill was 10 years ago.
I haven't been ill for ages, but the last time I was ill was at Christmas.
What were the symptoms?
I had a runny nose and a headache and I think a temperature.
I had a sore throat and I had a little bit of a runny nose, but it was mostly a sore throat.
I'd done my backache.
Well, I think I had flu, so I had a headache and a really sore throat. I had a temperature and I felt all achy all over.
Did you take anything for it?
I did, yes. I always do. I took aspirin and I think that's it.
I took some painkillers.
Just pain relief tablets, that was it.
I did. I took some paracetamol and I just stayed in bed and rested.
Have you been to a festival recently?
Yeah, 2 years ago I went to the Isle of Wight festival.
Yes, I went to a music festival a couple of weeks ago.
I have. I went to a music festival called Radio 1's Big Weekend.
No, my daughter has. She keeps going to them.
Yes, I went to 2 music festivals. I went to Glastonbury and I went to Truck.
Yes, have.
What was it like?
It was fantastic. The weather was perfect and we saw loads of great bands and we camped, which was really good fun.
It was excellent. The weather was really good and the bands were excellent and the atmosphere was just superb.
It was brilliant, really good fun, and it was a sunny day too.
They were both quite different. Glastonbury was absolutely massive, lots of good bands, and Truck was smaller, more intimate, but again, a lot of fun.
It was very good. The weather was pretty good. It wasn't raining, which it usually does, and the bands were excellent.
Are you going again next year?
No, actually, I haven't got any plans to go again next year.
Possibly, yes, if the weather's good. You never know. But yes, I think so. It was free, so I might as well.
I'd like to go next year, but I don't have anything booked yet.
Definitely, yes.
The historic city of Venice is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Venice, in northeastern Italy, is made up of 118 small islands. The islands lie in a saltwater lagoon along the coast of the Adriatic Sea. A long piece of land, the Lido, protects the lagoon from the sea. Venice is over 1,500 years old. The first people to settle on the islands were refugees from Roman cities in the 6th century. By the 15th century, Venice was one of the richest cities in the world. It was the centre of international trade and art. The rich built beautiful bridges, homes, churches, and piazzas, and travelled along the canals by gondola. Today, Venice is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is visited by 15 million tourists every year. Every spring, people from the local area, Europe, and around the world come to see the annual Carnival of Venice. It's a colourful celebration. There are parties and processions with everybody wearing traditional costumes and masks. The modern carnival lasts for 2 weeks in March or April. But the carnival has a long and interesting history. Springtime festivals were held in Venice from the start of the 11th century. Traditionally, the carnival lasted about 2 months, from the day after Christmas to Mardi Gras, 40 days before Easter. Masks have been part of the festival since the 13th century. Although at this time people were prevented from wearing masks by law for most of the year, residents of Venice were allowed to wear masks during Carnival. By the 18th century, the Carnival's wild parties and nightlife were famous across Europe. In the 1930s, the Carnival was banned by the government, and it didn't start up again until the early 1980s, when a modern mask shop was opened in the city. Today, the Carnival of Venice is Europe's most famous carnival again.
How lucky you are. Of course. Tell him again.
Masks are still very important in all the celebrations. Both traditional and modern designs are popular. At huge masked balls, people wear beautiful costumes and dance to traditional music. And the parties continue in the streets with musicians and entertainers throughout the night. Today, Venice is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is visited by 15 million tourists every year. The modern carnival lasts for 2 weeks in March or April. In the 1930s, the carnival was banned by the government, and it didn't start up again until the early 1980s, when a modern mask shop was opened in the city. Masks are still very important in all the celebrations. Both traditional and modern designs are popular.